What is that?
I don't know. It's a little air horn or something.
Oh. Well, air horn at the top of the pod is crazy.
Hey man, we gotta get them. We gotta get them started. We gotta get them hooked.
Could you imagine waking up and you're just like chilled out morning? Yeah, I can't wait to listen to Real Heads podcast. Like on my morning commute. Like,
yeah, man.
No,
yeah,
can't do that to them.
Anywho, welcome to the Real Heads podcast.
Hey.
We got some music, generic music. Added that in post.
Okay. Heard. Got
it. Anyways, welcome to Real Heads.
Yes.
We're coming at you, putting the real film in our real heads.
Yeah.
And we're trying to reel in the heads to listen and us talk about film.
And our heads are real.
And our heads are real.
It's a triple entendre. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about
it. So we got a movie we watched on Sunday. We went pretty early morning. I don't think they were even open yet.
Matinee.
Very matinee film. It was a little indie film, not super big.
No.
Alien Romulus.
Yeah, Alien Romulus.
It was a movie. All right,
was a movie.
See you later.
Yeah, that was it. Thank you guys. Have a good week. We'll see you next time.
But no. We got Alien Romulus coming up. And this is it's a legacy horror science fiction film from some pretty big directors who have been in the game for a very long time. Starting off with the Ridley Scott and moving on forward from there. So yeah, do you know anything about this film franchise? Have you ever experienced this film franchise first?
So I know that this movie kind of fits in between Alien and Aliens 2.
Yes.
Which for some reason they decided to not call it Aliens 2. They called it Aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Which fair enough. Yeah. I think they should have added two S's at the end. It's like Aliens.
Maybe a Z.
Maybe even a Z. Yeah. Aliens. That could have been cool.
Yeah.
But, I digress. Yeah. So we got Aliens Romulus, 1S. I've only seen Covenant and Prometheus. So going in, I've got like maybe a slightly different view than some other fans of the franchise who have seen them all. So we'll definitely get into that. But yeah, man, it was a cool movie. I enjoyed it. I want to talk a little bit about kind of like a little bit of the backstory of the production of this film.
Sure, go ahead.
Not too deep into it, but just kind of like just want to touch on the fact that, this movie got greenlit after Disney acquired Fox, right? Because, you see it's a Fox title.
Yes.
So
20th century now.
Yeah. And if you remember how long ago that was, that when Disney acquired Fox, it had to have been... That wasn't recent. It's been
that
some
was
years.
Around the 2020. So it's been about 4 years.
Has it been 4 years?
About maybe towards the end of 2019. So maybe about 5-ish.
Interesting. I don't know why I thought that maybe it was earlier than that. But yeah, I think you're right actually. Because yeah, you might be right. But I don't know. I liked how this movie had a lot of really good practical effects.
Yeah.
They really went to town. Stan Winston School did the effects for this one, which was sick. I love anything that the Stan Winston company does. Obviously, like credited with original Aliens, Jurassic Parks, and many other like Jaws, like just high prolific, super reputable, people and like just doing the damn thing. So the practical effects were really, really sick here. I want to talk a little bit about the director being Fede Alvarez.
Go ahead.
And did you know he's the director from Evil Dead?
The newest one.
Newest one?
Mm-hmm. Not the newest one.
No.
Because there's
the Evil Dead 2013 remake. Yeah. I want to say it's 2013. Where she cuts her tongue. Sick. And I loved when I kind of made that connection. Went, oh, that's what he's from, because I love that movie. I've never seen the original Evil Dead.
I haven't either,
but I've seen the remake.
I have not.
And I've also seen the new one.
I've seen that,
and I like them both. But I really like the remake, I thought it was just punchy and bloody, and like the practical effects, I was like, ooh, I like this. I like this. And he also did Don't Breathe.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either.
You've never seen Don't Breathe? Wow. That movie would give you anxiety.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
But knowing that he did Don't Breathe and Evil Dead, that gives you a really good insight on what to expect from an alien film made by him. And I think that perfect hiring choice. Perfect director for an alien film in my eyes. You know, I think he nails the tone, he nails the atmosphere, practical effects on point. Like, and it's evident in his past work, and it's proven here, you know. He also collaborated on this project with Rodo Sayagase. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I apologize if I am not. They both worked together on previous films as well, and also worked together on this one. So we love to see that too. You love to see two creatives who frequently get to work together, because, you know, obviously if you got two hands in the pot and you guys have done this in the past, it's not going to come out like a mishmash project, you know.
Yeah.
Like you guys you've clearly shown that you've been able to work together in the past, and you're doing it again now, and that's what you know, what's gonna be a great product, or showcase a great product moving forward. And that's what we got, I felt like, you know. So obviously, Fede has a good background in horror, suspense, gore, atmospheric horror, and those elements, would you say, were implemented pretty well into Aliens Romulus?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It definitely got back because I've seen the original. And that's the only one I've seen.
Mhm.
And you know, even then, like that one is a science fiction horror film, but I feel like this,
Like the original Aliens
Yeah.
you're talking about? Yeah.
yeah. But with this one, I feel like this was more horror than it was. Like it's still science fiction, obviously.
Right. Right.
But I felt like this was a traditional horror film to an extent more
Yeah.
than the other one. The other one was like, oh crap, bad things are happening.
Mhm.
You know, like we got to get our stuff together, and like there's a scary monster after us. This one is like similar things, but it like dives deeper into the scary aspect of these like spider-like alien creatures are chasing after you.
Yeah, which is fun, you know. I like that. I like that he was able to dial in on the horror and dial it up a bit, you know, because like people always talk about the xenomorphs and like the Alien franchise being a part of horror, a big part of horror. But I mean, I haven't seen the first Aliens, but even like you said, like it's never really been that scary. And even when I watched Covenant and Prometheus, they're not that scary. They're not really scary at all, really. It's more so on the sci-fi and like horror elements. But yeah, this one definitely, I think you hit the nail on the head, dialed in on the horror. So yeah, from here I guess let's break into the cast. So we got some interesting players here. So you've got Kaylee Spaney, who plays the titular character Rain. She is known for her role in the recent Civil War movie. She also played Priscilla
Oh yes,
in
yeah.
Priscilla. She also was acting opposite John Boyega in Pacific Rim Uprising. Then you had David Johnson as Andy, her lovable cyborg, who has really not been in a lot of movies, but he was in a popular TV show, The Industry, and Deep State.
He was in Rylane.
What's that?
It's a Hulu film that came out maybe last year.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, it's decent. It's a rom-com type of situation.
Interesting. So you got Archie Renault, who played Tyler, and he is known for Shadow and Bone. He was a character in that, and also a character in Morbius.
Oh,
bear with me here because we're gonna make some connections. Okay, I got you. Hold on. Isabella Merced plays Kay, and she was Dora in Dora and the Lost City of Gold.
Oh, really?
And she also,
I did not.
I know, crazy, right? She also was in Transformers: The Last Night, Madam Web.
Oh.
And yeah, so there's that. Then you had Spike Fiern as Bjorn, and he was in After Sun and also His Dark Materials.
Yeah.
And then you also had Eileen Wu as Navarro, who doesn't have a lot of acting credits per se in the terms of Hollywood films, but has been in a lot of shorts, and I think also maybe some Broadway. I think some Broadway as well. So how did you feel overall about that cast?
It was a solid cast. You know, like they're obviously very so young. I didn't realize that Andy was from Rye Lane because I have seen it. But after I noticed who he was, I was like, oh yeah, that's the main love interest from that film. Good film. But anyways, he's a favorite.
Yeah,
He
stole the
was,
show.
my opinion, the best actor in the entire movie.
Yeah, he stole the show.
They were all really great, though. I don't want to get that like, oh, they were all terrible except him, but that's not the case whatsoever.
No.
I don't know. There's just something about it, just his acting, the writing for that character, and just every scene he was in. I was like, I am with this man, even though he's somewhat. Well, I won't. That's kind of spoiler territory. I won't get into that at that moment. But I was with him the entire time. Like, I'm like, man,
he did good. He did good. Everyone did great, but standout performances I would love to point out is definitely David Johnson as Andy, Kaylee Spaney as Rain. She did phenomenal. I would say also Archie did pretty good as Tyler. I mean, everyone honestly did. Even Eileen, who didn't have a lot of screen time, like for the screen time that she did have, like I felt like she played that role pretty solid. Like it felt this is, if you want to tag on, because we know we talk about this a lot in other episodes of podcasts and just in our movie talks in general, movies that want to take from the Guardians, like, you know, kind of
ragtag group.
Yeah, ragtag group and whatnot. Like this movie does that.
They are.
And it does it well. But that's what we were talking about in the other episode, though, Ian. Is just that, like, it's not even like we're saying like the Guardians thing, and like obviously we do give a lot of homage and a lot of praise to James Gunn and everyone who worked on those films for what they did. They were very amazing films, but like, you know, it's really just a trope of ragtag team, right? So, you know, here it is again, ragtag team of people, and we talked about in our Borderlands review and how that was done so wrong, and here it's done so right. And we also talked about in that review how in a horror film you get a ragtag group often, you know, people from different walks of life, maybe even somehow similar, but still they have their own unique backgrounds and stories, their own motivations, and you can pinpoint every person's individual motivation in that film and how it regards to what the mission is, what the goal is, and how the plot takes all of those and drives the narrative forward. Made for a great movie.
Yeah.
As when we talked about Borderlands, it didn't do any of that. You know, not to jump back to that, but we'll get back into it here. So I want to talk a little bit about how did you feel about fan expectations of the film going in? What was your expectation going in? How do you feel the film balanced nostalgia with innovation in terms of fan expectation?
Yeah, like I said, I don't like have that high of expectations. I've only seen the first one because I do like to go back and watch films that are considered classics, you know. So I saw that. I really loved it. It's really great. I suggest anybody to go see it. I haven't seen anything else prior to seeing that, and I haven't really watched anything else after that. But I intend to. I think that with this film going in, I was just expecting that maybe like I'm sorry, I paused so long. My thoughts were
good.
Trying to figure out how to come out. I was expecting if this film piques my interest more, I'm going to dive deeper in as sooner rather than later. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oops. That was my expectation. Sorry. My headphone. So I was like, if this movie's not super great, I'll probably just like, well, when I catch them, I'll catch them. If it was good, then I'd be like, okay, well, I want to dive deeper.
So you would say you were looking for something to pique your interest, something like it didn't have to necessarily be new or old because you don't really have that base knowledge of what that would look like. You just wanted
Yes.
something that felt good to you.
Yes, and not that the first film from the 70s is didn't feel good to me.
No, but that's the thing though. I feel like a lot of people when we have these kinds of conversations, they don't want to hold up a film on its own merit. They want to always compare, and obviously that's the name of the game. That's how you usually review things. Like you got to compare it to something, you know. So, but at the same time, like we do got to hold this film up on its own merit and see if it holds up on its own merit. So I think you can say.
Yeah.
Like I want to see if it's good, not necessarily if it's good, meaning that Alien is not, just is this good?
Yeah.
So would you say you felt like it was?
Oh yeah. But yeah, I'm a big I love science fiction. I love just a good, just weird science fiction. Like 2001 is one of my favorite science fiction films. Which is it's kind of horror maybe, like kind of, but it's more so of like a space sci-fi adventure thing.
Yeah.
So I want like I when I watch sci-fi, I want to be drilled into that universe that this is what life is like for humans now. You know,
100%. I agree with that 100%.
So when we watch Dune or we watch Star Wars or whatever other science fiction film, to that extent, like that either far in the future or like close future,
right?
I want to be like, okay, this is what it's like for these people now, and how are they interacting with this world? How is the atmosphere of the universe shaped?
Right.
And this movie, I think, ticks all those. With the the very first film, it's just they're on the ship. That's it. They don't go to a planet. They don't start on a planet. Whatever. It's just they are on the ship.
Yeah.
We know they're working for a company.
Right.
I think they're expecting inspecting an old ship that it's kind of like linked to old alien life, or ancient life in the universe. And that's kind of it. Like that's all we kind of know. I mean, obviously we get introduced to the aliens, the xenomorphs, and the spider things, which are xenomorphs, I think, still. But
yeah,
I don't know if they have a separate name. But this one, I was I loved everything about like their universe that they were just expanding upon, and it just, when I'm going to go back and watch, because now I'm going to tend to watch it in storyline order and not necessarily when it's released.
Right.
When I go back and watch, it's going to make me, I'm going to feel more appreciative of this universe of like, okay, well, I got this small snippet of whatever this was happening over here.
Right.
Now I got to go back and like experience it in the past in that life, if that makes sense.
Right. No, I get that. And I'm glad that this film has lit that fire under you. It did the same for me. I mean, I had already planned on doing it anyway, because I just curiosity. But now I'm more jazzed about it than I was before. Definitely more jazzed about it to go back and see the other films. So I want to get into the title, right? Romulus. It carries a significant symbolic meaning. It's big, okay? So Romulus is a figure from Roman mythology known as one of twin brothers, along with Remus, who founded Rome. So according to legend, Romulus became the first king of Rome after a series of conflicts, including the fratricidal killing of his brother Remus. So it's a story of rivalry, survival, and the creation of an empire. Think about that in regards to the movie Alien Romulus, right? So we'll talk about a little bit like that significance. So we got themes of survival and leadership. Yeah. How do you feel the film tackles that theme?
Very well.
And I would say we can let's ease our way into spoiler
Yeah.
territory at this point if need be, because I feel like that will just better serve the, kind of
Okay.
like the engine, if you will. So
Yeah.
if you guys don't want to get spoilers, go see the film. Go see it. 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 Go see
Yes.
it. It's great. Go see it. Okay. Spoiler time. It potentially. We're just gonna say now. But yeah.
Spoilers.
So talk to me. How do you feel? How do you feel this film does in terms of the theme of survival and leadership?
Yeah. I mean, it does really well. I now that you're, I knew. I mean, I know that Romulus and Remus has some type of historical background. I mean, even Prometheus, like,
Mm-hmm.
they obviously are coming off the backs of that Roman type of like vibe.
Mm-hmm.
If you know who the first original director was, being Ridley Scott, like, I mean, he directed Gladiator and like some more historical epics.
Right.
So it makes sense.
Yeah.
In the sense of leadership and survival, I think that's kind of interesting, like, because Remus is the other part of the ship,
Mm-hmm.
and Remus is kind of like dead to an extent, and like everybody enters into like the ship in Romulus. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? So we get these new people who are going to be taking over the reins of what to do next.
Mm-hmm.
You know, into this, and they do end up in Remus, on that side of the ship, where Old Guard, the android that was kind of dead but not dead, he's an android,
Right.
kind of tries to take back over leadership to an extent, with Andy being kind of, watch the movie, like they have to like break some people out to like save them, to get them out of where they got stuck in, and like to do so they have to put a computer chip into Andy's brain that is connected to the larger older guard, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um so in the sense of like leadership, in that sense of like, Andy does have a very like hard nosed ground, like, I'm the leader to an extent, as but with Rain, these are two friends, like they're brother and sister.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Well, it's interesting because I feel like you have that leadership and survival happening in tandem from different perspectives throughout the film. Like you're saying,
yeah.
like you got it with Andy. He was trying to be a leader and but also trying to survive, but survive what and for who? Same thing with Rain. Same thing with, I'm forgetting his name now. Let me scroll up for a sec. Same thing with Tyler. Same thing with Kate. Like it went for every character pretty much. Every character at some point was making decisions or trying to lead and trying to survive. So I felt like that. Like yeah, I agree with you. I feel like that theme hit heavy in
Mhm.
this film. The other one that I want to touch on too was duality and conflict, right?
Mm.
So the story of Remus and Romulus obviously involves a fraternal conflict. And there was a lot of fraternal conflict in the film, right?
Yeah.
And not just not like and not just fraternal, but also just conflict in general. Like you obviously had the conflict between Andy and Rain. You had the conflict between Andy and um the mean kid, the one that was being,
Yeah.
had his own thing with androids. You had that conflict. Then you had obviously the conflict between all the protagonists and all the aliens, and it was just like how those all balanced each other out and all intertwined with each other, like just made for a lot of interesting duality, I would say.
Mhm.
It's just like it felt like each character had like a string connected to a different character, and they all kind of intertwined in a way. And like some people had certain relationships with one character that they didn't have with another character. It wasn't like
Yeah.
not everyone was just on even ground with each other.
Mhm.
And I feel like that made for a very interesting cast and a very interesting plot device, because now you can really play with that. When scenarios happen, Andy might be thinking, well, why would I want to save you? Like you've treated me like crap. whereas Rain might be thinking this is like this is a human. This is someone who's like he's one of us. Like he might, I'm in this moment. Maybe I'm forgetting that you're also an android, so you're not really one of us. But you and I also have a connection that feels fraternal. That feels,
Mhm.
maybe not fraternal, but that's not the right word. But it feels like family.
Yeah.
And but that gets those lines get muddied. They get blurred. So it's very interesting, that duality and that conflict, between you know everyone's relationships. Yeah, I don't know. How do you feel about it?
Yeah. It just, I wasn't like when they were trying to play up the brother and sister aspect of Andy and Rain. I really wasn't like fully understanding to an extent at first. Not
Mhm.
necessarily like they're, one's an android and one's like a human. So it's like I
Mhm.
like, how can an android, how can an AI have that type of kinship with a human is what my mind is thinking.
Well, that was the
It
thing. It
can,
was just purely coding. Like
yeah,
it
yeah.
was just like, and that was, I felt like, added kind of like a bit of layer of more feeling to it, even
Mhm.
though it's like ironic, because you can tell in different scenes like that where she might be upset, where she might be realizing, or like trying to process in the moment, like this android isn't really real, but are like my feelings towards it are real,
Yeah.
and it's like sometimes she almost has to remind herself that, and because it's like it
Yeah.
is an
No, that
android,
makes
it's an
sense.
AI. So it's like some people might think, well, this is just nuts and bolts. It doesn't have a mind of its own. But like we've all seen Terminator,
Yeah.
like it does, but it's a different kind of mind. So like I get where you're coming from. But I think that's why this movie was so interesting, is because like it got you to kind of like look at their relationship from different perspectives, because you're seeing it from different people and how different people are viewing it, and you're also seeing it from the source and seeing how those two view their relationship. And I don't want to speak for you, but I know for me, at the end of the day, walking away from that film, I felt like they do truly think of each other as
Yeah.
siblings,
I agree
and the
as well.
relationship felt believable.
Yeah. I totally agree
You
with you.
agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So the last thing I'll say about the title, so we've got also themes of empire and expansion.
Hmm.
So obviously Romulus was credited as with founding Rome,
Hmm.
and then you had obviously the human drive to colonize space in the Alien franchise, right? So in this film, we had the Rook android guy, from the old movie.
Hmm.
In this one, who is trying to get them to take this goo that they've derived from the face huggers, and they're like, this is you they just it's like the secret mission that he puts Andy on. He's
Yeah.
like, you got to get this to the other colony of like humans, right?
Yeah.
So we find out later in the movie that it's not really a good thing. This is how we create the perfect human. This is how we create those weird looking bald headed men.
Yes.
Yeah. So we gotta use their blood, and that's how we'll create like this little goopy stuff. So yeah, again, it's that expansion. He's trying to, for some reason, the AI, and I'm pretty sure it's probably just because that's what it was coded to do. It was
Mhm.
coded to do this mission. So it's trying to expand this race.
What's good for the company?
Yeah, what's good for the
What's good for the
company?
company is
What's good
to
for the company? What's good for us?
be expanding,
Yeah,
you know. And
Waylon.
yeah.
So yeah, so there was that. How do you feel like this film would influence future Alien films?
I think it's going to dive more into the lore, and if they continue with this director, then
Mhm.
it will probably dive more into horror. And if you really like, you see Dune, like Dune's very like strange, out there
Mm-hmm.
to an extent, sci-fi. So
It asks you
like,
to believe in a lot,
yeah, I mean, I think the
as it
next
should.
yeah, I think the next logical thing is to, I don't know if we should see where these characters end up, but maybe
You wouldn't want to see
no, I would
a direct
love
sequel.
I would love to see a direct sequel.
Mm-hmm.
I just am trying to think of how can we get to the future
Mm-hmm.
for this franchise by just continuously going to the past, because there is, this one is set between two films.
Yeah.
It's a legacy sequel to
Yeah.
an extent. It's a prequel to an extent. Um, you know, these characters, like, we are super in the far future with the last Alien film,
Right.
from my knowledge.
Right.
So how do these, like, where do they end up? Where they, like, is their stories more important in the future? Even though we're just now finding out
Mhm.
about these characters. And then FX is making a prequel series called Alien Earth
Yeah.
that is coming out. It's either this year or the following year.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, and it's about it's set before Prometheus.
Yeah.
So, what do we
Hmm.
keep on just making these in the past
That's the thing,
movies,
man.
or do we?
I do really want to unpack this, because this is a bigger kind of topic that I really wanted to hit on in this episode specifically, because I feel like I have a lot to say about it. And it kind of leads into the next point as well. So we're gonna kind of combine these 2 points, talking about the future of the franchise, as well as I wanted to also talk about some of the reviews and critical receptions of the film, mainly in regards to fans of the franchise, right? So I have this issue with when franchises do stuff like what's going on with the Alien franchise, because what's going on with the Alien franchise is no different than what's also going on with Star Wars, right? So let's talk about Star Wars for a quick second. Star Wars, you have a love it or hate it, great first trilogy, 4, 5, 6. George Lucas, people love it. People are like, yeah, this is great. It's great things since sliced bread. We love it. We want more sci-fi. Okay, we'll give you 1, 2, 3. We go back. We give you the prequels to show you how we got there. Love it or hate it, I think they're great too. They're cool movies.
Yeah, they're good.
Yep. Then we go, well, we got this multi-billion-dollar company. What do? Well, there's all this source material here. We got all these books. We got all these books over here. I mean, I'm gonna jump in. No, I don't want to do that. Well, what do you want to do? Well, I want another trilogy that's gonna talk more about those old characters from over there, from back there, from those 6 movies. We need to get people to come see, because we want them to think that we're going with those characters still. Okay, I mean they're kind of old, but yeah, we're doing that, right? So we do that. Love them or hate them, they're okay. Not all of them are. I would argue that 7, 8, 9 are worse than
The prequel.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So and then you could see the writing was kind of on the wall at this point. You had too many cooks in the kitchen, too many people with their own ideas, and not a person at the head that could say that not even just could say, but could have the proper future thought for the franchise, not just for a film, not just for a run of films, but for the franchise. Where are we going with this? Because like you were saying with Alien, you're wondering, well, how are we going to move forward if we do keep going back? I'm gonna bring it back. Just bear with me. So you don't get that with Star Wars. What do we do after 7, 8, 9? Well, we get 2 more movies going back, right? You get Han Solo. Yeah, it's okay. You get Rogue One. People love Rogue One. It's great.
Yeah.
But people argue, well, what about those other characters? What are they doing? What do we, they want more lore. They want to see ultimately this franchise move forward, right? Okay, so we got Disney Plus. Well, we'll get you the Mandalorian. We'll get you Boba Fett. It's an older guy. What about new? Okay, well we got you. We got what was the fighter jet one with the one that came out before the newest one? I'm forgetting the name of that one now. People like that one. That had Andy Serkis in it.
Andor.
Andor.
Yep.
We got your fighter jet dudes going on secret missions. It's got a really great scene with Andy Serkis in it. Fans are still like, hey, yeah, it's okay, but like, it's like you can't win, right?
Yeah.
You get to the point where you can't win because now we even got the series where they go, they really
Acolyte.
just Acolyte. Where
Yeah,
they really
that's
just
done too, by the way.
yeah,
It's
I know,
canceled.
got canceled, and you know why? Because they don't know what they want to do. They don't have a cohesive vision for not just a movie, not just a show, not just a run of shows, but the franchise. What do you want this billion-dollar IP to be? Do you want it to be Jurassic Park, where it's just people going to the park in different time periods of life? Is that what you want? Because you can do that. That's what they're doing. Is it fantastic? Nah, no. But at least they know what they're doing with the franchise. You know what you're getting in every single Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Exactly. So take it to Alien. I've seen Covenant, I've seen Prometheus, and now I've seen Romulus. I like Romulus more than both of those. And I think it's because I think that movie hits the atmosphere of what I feel like could be a really good sci-fi horror franchise on the head. But what I see the problem is that a lot of the people who are fans of the entire franchise are in the reviews. They're saying that they feel like this has no innovation. They didn't push the needle forward. It feels like a legacy film. It feels like a Rogue One. I've seen that criticism thrown around. Everyone's just said they give it a 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5. It feels like a greatest hits of Alien franchise. Why I question and I want to know, what do you want as an Alien fan for the franchise? Not a movie, not a TV show, not a run of TV shows, not a run of movie. For the franchise, what do you want this franchise to be? Because if I was the head, if I was the one, I'd say no more, no more, no more, no more. And this is another franchise we could have dove into, but for time's sake, I won't do it. X-Men. No more X-Men type movies where like you've got a cool IP, but you've got so many movies that jump here, there, and there. No one can follow.
Yeah.
It's getting to that point with Star Wars. We can't follow. It's all over the place. I don't know what I'm getting. I don't know what to walk into when I see the Star Wars. I don't know what I'm walking into when I'm getting Alien, because Covenant and Prometheus doesn't really play like Romulus. People might say Romulus might play a little bit more like Alien, but even you said Alien just starts you off on the ship and you're just there. And I'm sure Alien is a fantastic movie. I know it's a fantastic movie. But do we want a franchise that is focused on just making every movie is going to be some way to one up the original in terms of what is it about the original that we love so much? Well, we love Ripley, right? We want to see more badass female characters. We get that. We got that with Kaylee. I'm saying her name right. Let's see.
With Rain.
With Kaylee. Yeah, that's her name, right? Yeah, with Rain, Kaylee.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that with her. She's great. She's got cool suits and everything. She's great. Well, we want atmospheric horror. We got that. We got that here. We got that. It's great. Did you see some of those scenes? The lighting, the sound design. Shout out to the sound design team and the editing team. My God, you guys did phenomenal. Okay, well, we like the lore. We like, from what I understand, I haven't seen the movie, but from what I understand, there wasn't really a ton of lore in Alien. But people liked the vibe. They liked the idea of the mystery of not knowing really, why are these things here? Why are they here? And like, I don't know if they explore that more in Aliens. And if they do, then cool. But like, where does the franchise go from there? Do you want, like, how do you keep, you can't keep making films that are supposed to chase after 1 and 2. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't like if you're always making your sequels trying to be the better version of Alien and Aliens, it's never gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Those movies were those movies and they were good for the things that they were good at, but like what's the next step in terms of the story? Like does it, because like I feel like at a certain point, it can't get any bigger. There's aliens that eat people and kill people and they breed them to make more. What more? What more do you want?
They're a hive mind to an extent, to
Yeah.
my understanding.
So
And they're like a queen. I know there's a queen.
and I think in the Alien versus Predator movie there was a alien queen in that. So like, okay, cool. Like, and you can do stuff like that. But like, I see a lot of these fans that are really like, they're craving, just like the fans in Star Wars, like they're craving something that I don't think is obtainable. I just truly think that if you sit back, like what, like if you think that there is this grand alien movie that hasn't been made yet, that is the end all be all aliens film to top Aliens 1 and 2, by all means write it, pitch it. Hopefully it gets made. I'd love to see it. But I don't see what's going to come out that's going to top those movies. What is it that we want even like for topping those movies? Cuz I just feel like even without seeing 1, without seeing 2, that to me this what we got here is what I want out of an Aliens franchise. I would just love to see characters who have goals and missions and dreams in this world where like life is a little bleak. Like it's hard out here and we got to go to the extremes to get to where we need to go. And that's just it. And maybe that means we don't get a million alien films. Sometimes you only need 1 or 2.
Yeah, I agree.
And let it be after that. But I get it. It's an IP. It makes money.
Yeah.
People have ideas and they want to try them. I get that. But sometimes I think there really does need to be someone at the head that says, hey, this is where this franchise goes and that's where it stays. We're not, if you really have a great idea for something in here that doesn't fit this vision, tweak it, make it your own IP. Maybe we do that. Because Rogue One could have been a fantastic just space adventure movie that had nothing to do with Star Wars.
Well, have you seen this side note? Have you seen the guy's most recent film, The Creator?
No, I haven't.
It's super similar.
Yeah.
Like not in the sense of like it's a ragtag group of people, but like just the atmosphere looking.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like Rogue One.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people weren't super like they were impressed with the visuals, but they weren't like the story wasn't really which I get. Like I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
But anyways,
do you feel like, to bring it back a little bit, do you feel like how this film is being received by the fans of the franchise, do you feel like it's going to hurt the film success or the legacy of the franchise at all?
I don't know, man.
And I don't want to come across either like I'm just like wanting to just cut down all these people's opinions and whatnot, because obviously like I know like I haven't seen all of the films in the franchise, but I'm just speaking from like a more broader perspective, just how I see or how I would like to see the franchise go. And I just want to encourage people to think more about that and what you truly want and less about what I'm assuming is, can we make Aliens 1 and 2 again?
My opinion, because I'm a new person who's interested in this franchise,
okay,
is that people will show up, I feel like regardless to an extent. I'm going to show up and I'm going to enjoy myself with going back and revisiting the old ones and maybe catching the FX show when it comes out or whatever. But ultimately, like, I just feel like these fans, like, not saying that the fans aren't important, because they're definitely important. But sometimes there can be an extent to be where, like, it gets too much. Just everything is poo-pooed on, and it's the same thing with Star Wars. It's like Mandalorian 1 and Mandalorian 2 season 2, they're great, in my opinion. They're a really good TV show. I didn't really catch all of 3, and that's fine. Do I plan to? I don't know.
I don't know what was really wrong, like super wrong with that. I think that it was just kind of like felt like they kept on going back to the old when, like, I was more so invested into um the Mandalorian himself and his missions, um, you know. But I think that there was a rally cry behind the Mandalorian because that was like, oh, the Mandalorian, John Favreau, like he knows what he's doing, he knows the vision, and now the third one comes out and people are like, it's all right,
Yeah,
So truly, I think that, like, I think honestly, it's probably going to be similar to Star Wars, where they're going to be just fans who will always be negative about stuff. But I'm interested and I'm going to enjoy myself, and that's, I think, all that matters is just
that's good.
Enjoying it yourself.
Yeah, not at the end of the day, everyone is free to like or dislike what they want.
Yeah.
If you enjoy it, you enjoy it. If you don't, then you don't, and that's okay. I'm with you. I think that I'm gonna consume any alien content that comes out. I'm hoping that it is good content and it's enjoyable content. I'm hoping to see more Fede alien content.
He's good.
Please, my God, please.
I'm interested to see what he does next.
Yes, I would. Oh my gosh, and I need more Andy. Needs my Andy. I love that guy. Such a cool character. But do you have anything else to add before we kind of close this one out?
No, not really. I mean, you say a lot and hit a lot on the head. I think that Alien Romulus was something really good. It was a great show. There's a lot of great horror. There's a lot of great action.
Yeah, I also thought it was kind of interesting too, because like we're talking about like our closing thoughts and like and obviously we're gonna kind of do our little fun ranking of like the film and whatnot, and that made me just think back to some of the reviews that like I was reading and how a lot of them were middle of the road, like 3 out of 5 stars, but they never said anything necessarily negative outside of it. Would always be like 3 out of 5 stars, really great film, love the film, blah blah blah, feels like Aliens 1 or feels like a retreading of this or blah blah blah. And I feel like you and I, it sounds like we really enjoyed the film. I mean, I know we did. And I wonder, like, when it comes to people who make reviews, I wonder like why discount something because it's not what you expected for an older film. I think that's or why you think that maybe it was too similar to an older film. I said earlier in the pod, like, I think films need to stand up on their own merit.
Yeah.
And I think in a movie that is based off of a famous IP that gets to use this IP, obviously there's going to be some similarities and some parallels and some callbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone said something like, yeah, they took the whole cadence of one scene from another scene from Alien. Like, I mean, I haven't seen it, so I don't know the validity of that. But even if they did, that happens in movies. There's like a direct, like almost shot to shot comparison of 2 different scenes from Doctor Sleep and The Shining. And sometimes we do that, for just to pay homage or just for the narrative's sake, if we're able to go to similar locations or the same locations, and it's like almost like little Easter eggs, for yourself. I don't think that should get discounted. I don't think things like that should really.
I mean, Tarantino does that all of his films, all of his original IPs are callbacks to films that he loves.
Yeah, so it's just like stuff like that where I'm just like, I don't know, if you enjoyed it, why don't you just say you enjoyed it? It's okay that maybe you like something more than the original or the first one or the second one now. Maybe you liked it more yesterday, maybe you like it more now. I don't know. I just feel like some people are afraid to like things nowadays.
Yeah.
You get that?
Yeah.
Like some people, like I feel like we're so quick to want to crap on something and be like, yeah, this is terrible. It's not like this, or I don't like that. And like, yeah, all opinions are valid. Your opinions and thoughts are valid, but like, can we not just like enjoy something that is genuinely good? Because what happens is, if we don't, for one, always vote with your wallets, always let like studios know that you want more of a product by obviously paying for it, right? But also when you're vocal online about it, if you're saying that you don't want XYZ, a lot of times they do listen. And if you're saying that you don't like a movie like Aliens Romulus because it feels more like too much like this or that, and they go and course correct and they change it to something totally different,
And then you hate it.
then you hate it even more.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like we ended up getting with Star Wars.
Yeah.
I feel like it became a lot of that, a lot of fan outrage, course correcting, and it wasn't the course correcting they thought they wanted. And then it just got more bad because they're like, this is even worse now. I don't want to see that happen with Alien.
I don't either.
I hope it doesn't. I don't think it will.
To finish
go
up my final thoughts, I guess, unless you had something.
No, go ahead.
I really love the opening. I love the silent opening.
That was good.
Yeah, it's such a good opening. I
almost thought the sound was broken in the theater. I was like, hold on. Y'all not about to do this to me.
That's funny. That'd be really funny. No, it's great opening. Really love Andy getting to. I love the chase sequence that he has. The first initial chase sequence where he's just he's like, I'm gonna fix this, and he just starts, robot running.
Yeah.
And then he catches the doors. That was really sweet.
That was good.
So, final thoughts, final review. Are we still trying to do the?
Yeah.
Okay. This is one Andy's holding the door, trying to snatch the other guy out of multiple Andy's appearance on screen. I don't know. It's
what? Which one is that?
When Andy catches the doors that were closing.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get to the guy who hates androids.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I would rate this film. Andy catches the face hugger by its tail.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Because that was badass.
Yes. That's in the pretty much when he first gets re-downloaded.
Yeah. Right? When that happened, I was literally I was so locked in. I was like, oh, we've arrived. The train has met the station. We're freaking here.
Yeah. That was a good scene.
That was sick.
Especially when his eyes roll into the back and it shows the company logos in his eyes.
Yeah. I love stylistic stuff like that. I'm like, ooh, that's pretty. I like how that looks good. But yeah, guys, go see the film. Go see it. It's
good. It is a really good film.
It's pretty good. And don't listen to the haters.
Yeah.
They're gonna hate. Haters gonna hate.
We're
gonna potate it.
What?
Nothing.
Okay.
All right, guys, that's gonna be the end of the podcast. We're gonna catch you guys next week. So yeah, have a good week, and thank you guys for listening. Check out our Patreon. We got good stuff over there.
Yes,
great stuff. Extra shit.
Follow us over there for fun little things.
Fun little community over there. Yeah, we got AI. We got AI
in the development.
No, it's out of RD. It's there.
Oh, okay,
it's ready.
All right, you know more than what I do.
I know. All right, guys. So have a good week. We'll catch you later. Bye.
See you later.